Hello and welcome back to Money Never Sleeps. My name is Taimur from M&A Wealth. If you'd like more information about what you hear during the show, give us a call at 866-973-3627 or visit us online at mnawealth.com. And while at my website, click on the page to check out past shows and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. If you've ever tried to budget by tracking every purchase, you know how it goes. It works for a few days, maybe a week, and then you miss a day or two, and suddenly catching up feels like a chore you'd rather skip altogether. Today I want to talk about a different approach that flips that whole process around. It's called the anti-budget, and I think by the end of this episode, you're going to feel like it's something you can actually put into practice. Let's begin with a Kiplinger article that's headlined, "Tired of Tracking Every Dollar You Spend? You Need an Anti-Budget." The anti-budget comes down to three straightforward moves. First, automate your essentials like rent or mortgage, utilities, insurance, minimum debt payments. The non-negotiables get handled automatically, so you never have to think about them. Second, automate your savings and investments before anything else. This is the pay yourself first principle, and we believe it's one of the most powerful shifts you can make in how you think about money. Instead of saving whatever happens to be left over at the end of the month, you move money toward your future self first. Third, spend what's left based on what matters most to you that month, without guilt, without a spreadsheet, without making 100 small decisions every day. There's real research behind why this works. Vanguard's How America Saves 2025 report, which is shared in the article, looked at savings behavior across millions of workers and found that automatic contributions are consistently linked to higher participation and better retirement outcomes. When the important decisions are made once and run in the background, people follow through far more reliably. Traditional budgeting asks you to make dozens of micro decisions every single day, and that's exactly where many people run into trouble. Not because they don't care, but because that kind of system is just hard to sustain. So how do you actually set this up? Most people can do it in a single afternoon. Start by listing your essentials, which are the expenses that exist no matter what. Ask yourself, would I cancel this tomorrow without much debate? If the answer is yes, it doesn't belong in the essentials column. Streaming services, impulse subscriptions, things you signed up for and forgot about don't count. The tighter that list is, the clearer your financial baseline becomes. Once your essentials are identified, decide on your savings and investing targets before anything else gets spent. Think about retirement contributions, building an emergency fund, and setting aside money for expenses you know are coming, like an insurance premium or a move. A common guideline suggests directing around 20% of your income towards savings and extra debt payments after essentials. It's not a hard rule, but it gives you a number to work with. Then automate it. Set up direct deposit splits, so a portion of your paycheck goes straight to savings before it ever lands in your checking account. Schedule automatic transfers for the day after payday while the money is still sitting there. Once those pieces are in place, the decisions have already been made. What remains in your checking account is simply your spending money, and when the balance gets low, that's your signal to slow down. No spreadsheet required. I'd also encourage you to keep your priorities visible. A short note on your phone is enough. Something like build a $5,000 emergency fund or max out my Roth IRA this year. When you can see what you're working toward, it can be easier to stay connected to the plan. And decide in advance what happens when you hit a milestone. Once your emergency fund is funded, redirect that same automatic transfer toward investing. The system keeps moving forward without you having to reinvent it. Now, the anti-budget does have one real risk. Spend the rest can quietly expand if you never check in. A few simple guardrails can help prevent that. Keep discretionary spending in a dedicated account, and when it's empty, you're done for the month. Set soft limits in categories that tend to creep, like capping delivery apps and switching to groceries when you hit it. And use sinking funds, which are dedicated savings accounts or pools of money set aside specifically for a known, planned future expense, like replacing a car or going on a vacation. Now I want to zoom out because the anti-budget, the automation, the savings habits are all tools. The real goal underneath all of it is helping you work towards achieving what matters most to you financially, whether that's a comfortable retirement, funding your children's education, building generational wealth, or simply reaching a place where money is no longer a source of stress. There's actually a great Kiplinger article called Your 4-Step Guide to True Financial Freedom from a Financial Professional that lays out one way to think about that. Step 1. Decide what your financial goals are. It's a deeply personal concept. For some people, it's early retirement. For others, it's travel, or more time with family, or simply escaping the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle. According to a 2025 Goldman Sachs Asset Management Retirement Survey, which is noted in the article, 42% of working Americans are currently living paycheck to paycheck, and when you're there, financial goals can feel out of reach. But it's not a fixed destination. It evolves. The key is starting with a clear, honest picture of what you're working toward so you have a direction. Step 2. Build systems that can help you create wealth. You'll notice this connects directly to everything we've already covered today. Automate saving and investing. Give every dollar a purpose. Build what the article calls compounding machines, which are retirement accounts, index funds, real estate, and other things that may grow quietly over time. Protect your downside with an emergency fund, appropriate insurance, and by avoiding high-interest debt. And where possible, diversify your income so you're not entirely dependent on a single source. We think protecting your downside is just as important as growing your wealth because your financial strategy can be derailed by an unexpected event. Let's break down why each of these matters. An emergency fund can be your first line of defense. Without one, an unexpected expense like a medical bill, a car repair, or a job loss could force you to pull from investments at the wrong time or take on debt just to get by. A cushion of 3 to 6 months of living expenses can give you options when life doesn't go as planned. Appropriate insurance works in a similar way. Whether it's health, life, disability, or long-term care coverage, insurance exists to help protect you from costs that could otherwise be financially devastating. To me, high-interest debt, particularly credit card debt, is one of the quietest threats to financial progress. The interest compounds quickly and can far outpace any returns you might be earning elsewhere. Eliminating it can free up cash flow and remove potential drags on your overall financial health. And diversifying your income, whether through a side pursuit, rental income, dividends, or other sources, can help reduce your vulnerability if your primary income is disrupted. We saw during the COVID-19 pandemic how quickly employment circumstances can change because of outside forces. Having more than one stream of income isn't just smart planning, it's financial confidence. The common thread through all of this is resilience. Step 3, reduce debt and expenses, and I want to be clear that this doesn't mean living a restrictive life. It means being intentional, not living beyond your means, thinking carefully before major purchases, and knowing where your money is going. One point the article raises that often gets overlooked: protecting yourself from cybercrime is part of a sound financial strategy. A single security breach can set someone back significantly. First, use strong, unique passwords for your financial accounts and consider a password manager to keep track of them. It sounds simple, but reusing passwords across accounts is one of the most common ways people get compromised. Second, enable two-factor authentication wherever possible, especially on banking, investment, and email accounts. That extra layer of verification can stop a criminal in their tracks even if they have your password. Third, be cautious of unsolicited calls, texts, or emails asking for personal or financial information. Scammers are increasingly sophisticated, and older adults are disproportionately targeted. If something feels off, hang up and call the institution directly using a number you look up yourself. Fourth, monitor your accounts and credit regularly. Many banks offer free alerts for unusual activity, and you might be entitled to free credit reports that can flag accounts you didn't open. And fifth, make sure your devices and software are up to date. Security updates exist for a reason, which is that they patch vulnerabilities that criminals can actively exploit. In our opinion, cybersecurity isn't just an IT concern. It's a financial one. Taking these steps can be as much a part of protecting your future as some investment decisions you make. The article's last recommendation is to plan for the long term. The article points to a recent Gallup study that found only 59% of adults have a retirement savings plan, and of those, only about half expect to live comfortably on what they've saved. Here's what I want to leave you with today. Achieving your financial goals means nothing if your health isn't there to enjoy it. Building wealth matters, but not at the cost of your well-being. We think the goal is a life that's financially secure and worth living, and the systems we've talked about today are designed to help you build exactly that. If you have any questions about your retirement or your financial strategy, visit my website at mnawealth.com or call my office at 866-973-3627 to discuss how my team might be able to answer your questions and address your concerns. It's our goal to help you prepare for the retirement you've worked so hard for.
Disclosure. All matters discussed during the show are for informational purposes only. Opinions expressed are solely those of M&A Wealth and staff. All topics covered are believed to be from reliable sources. However, M&A Wealth makes no representations as to its accuracy or completeness. This commercial shall in no way be construed as a solicitation to sell securities or advisory services to residents where permitted. Topics should be discussed with your individual advisor prior to implementation. Advisory services offered through M&A Wealth, a registered investment advisor in the state of Texas. Insurance products and services are offered through PNC Life Insurance Agency, an affiliated company. M&A Wealth and PNC Life Insurance Agency are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any government agency.